We had a couple of fun ones. Yesterday, when we came to leave the hotel, we were locked in. Turned out we were locked in by two doors, and it was only by going in and getting the kitchen staff to let us through we managed to get out. So that was quite fun. And then today, similar sort of thing. We ended up having to get out through the garage, past the chickens, and through the private entrance to get out of the hotel last night, like that, Burgo. All part of the fun. Swim spot yesterday. A shopping trolley has arrived overnight. There you go. There we go. It's like snow. It's absolutely everywhere. And the weird bit is I couldn't tell you. Well, I guess it must be these trees here. It's kind of like lime trees to me, but they can't be. Because we don't get these seeds at home. Let's have a look. There we go. Good old Plant ID and Google. Yeah, all these fluffy seeds we've now lost. They're back over there, but it's black poplar, which apparently is quite a rare tree. And although it's in Europe, it's sort of along the line of latitude of Spain, so it goes and creeps across into sort of east through Europe, in line with Spain, and has these cotton-like seeds, which we see absolutely everywhere at the moment. And then I think, as I said, the last one, it was a poplar wood when we used to make wagons for horses and oxen and bits and pieces, because the wood's very naturally springy and is fire retardant, so it was used in floorings in times of old. But they're planting new plantations up through this bit of Spain, so I keep coming across these. But they have like catkins and a catkins producers. The weird bit is you see the seeds everywhere, but I've yet to see them actually come out of the tree. But now I know which tree I'm looking for. We'll keep on around. It's funny, you can't tell when you look at the map what the walk's going to be like. I could see we were next to a road today. I was thinking, oh, it's going to be really busy. Actually a nice little quiet road. We're going along for quite a while. Not seen anybody for ages. I was also thinking that we're kind of blessed because we're walking along on the boundaries, the margins, where all the fun stuff happens. You know, out in the middle of a field of wheat, at a field of grass. They're great because they sustain us, but actually the fun stuff's kind of here, where all the flowers are. And we've seen several rodents running across the path in front of us this morning. It's exciting, and I guess it's, you know, a kind of metaphor for life, really. You know, we're interested in the mundane jobs that lots of us do. It's those people that are breaking the boundaries, doing something new, the margins again. You know, it's the coastline or the riverbank. It's the margins, which is where the exciting things happen. You know, at the edge of the atmosphere. It's kind of cool. We had a cracking day yesterday. I spent a long part of the day walking along with a neurosurgeon, having a chat with him from Italy. He's got a tough decision. He's at the top of his field, but very stressed, and so he's going to have to end up changing that. He's caught in that trap where he spent decades of training and working his way up to being the top in his field, and so he's on a fantastic salary and lifestyle, but actually the price for that is too much. At the moment he thinks he can't do anything else, but he's going to need to. Got on really well with him, and then spent the evening chatting with a guy from Spain who worked for Volkswagen for a long time in Germany and is Spanish, but still works for Volkswagen in Spain. Spain, which is going to start its own tourism business up for the Japanese and Americans. It's going to be a great success. We're really excited about that. And then a couple of days ago, we met him a few times. A guy from Florida who's an adamant Trump supporter, so much so that Trump's actually still president. But, it was illegal Biden going and fixing elections and running as president now, and so I can only imagine what he's like yesterday when Trump was found guilty in court. Clearly won't. I expect you've seen it. We watched his press release. It's a bit surreal, really, was it? Let's talk about anything we fancy talking about, and nothing about what's really going on. I'm sure his supporters are even more engaged with him now, and those that don't support him are even more adamant. Where that's going to lead, who knows? We'll see. We've been seeing masses and masses of these, and he's decided he's not going to move. So I need some breakfast. I'm going to watch out for all these birds of prey, mate. And these storks, there's lots of storks. Apparently they like, not quite sure what you are. Word in some description. Oh, a cutie. It's not fussed by me. Wait a second. Maybe not. Wow. Nice walk this morning. Lots and lots of rodents, whatever they are. I'll look that up and find out what they are. And little leveret, baby rabbit, and frogs back there. Yeah, it's getting a bit warm. It's interesting talking to different people around the world with politics, all the different elections coming up. They find it very easy to talk to people from the Netherlands, and they've got 17 political parties that are working in coalition. And I said, oh, how's that working? Not well. Apparently that's normal for them. And then talking to the guy that lives in Spain, and Spain has more political parties than he was able to name. He said basically every region has a whole series of political parties. He said maybe 30 or more that all work allegedly together, but he said very, very badly. None of them listen to whatever anybody else says. They're just interested in their particular region. But, democracy's fantastic, isn't it? And it's wonderful being able to go and criticise systems and our leaders and bits and pieces, but there's still lots for us to go and improve. I get frustrated with different parties not working together to solve problems, and the fact that if an opposing party comes up with an idea, it has to be rubbish because they're the opposing party. It's like, that can't be the case. It's not sort of grown up language, and I'm frustrated with the amount of money that people have to put in to go and sort of promote themselves in an election. I don't think that's right. It should be just the same for any party that wants to go and portray themselves. And then I really like Rory Stewart. He was talking about one of his experiences. He was, I don't know what his title was, but at one point he represented the mountain rescue for the whole of the UK. And there was a vote that was going through Parliament, which was going to make life very difficult for mountain rescue. And so there's no way that he could go and vote for that. But his party was putting forward the motion, and so the English system is with the whips is you're not allowed to vote against your party. How crazy is that? What's the point of voting if you're not allowed to go and vote as your conscience and intellect dictates? And for weeks he went and appealed to the whip, tried to have a meeting with the Prime Minister and said, look, can I abstain from this vote because it's it's going to disadvantage the very people that I'm supposed to be representing, and he wasn't allowed to. You either voted on the party line, or if you didn't, then that was the end of your political career. I mean, they couldn't throw you out as an MP, but you were not going to get any positions of authority within the government. Just not a sign of a broken system. I don't know what is. He was Environment Secretary for a while, did a load of work with flooding, and another one of his stories was, he wanted to go and see what precautions were in place for flooding in the UK, and so asked if they could stage a training exercise that he could go and watch, and then saw that, and then went around all the different regions talking to all the people that were involved in managing response to flooding, so the fire brigade and fireman agency and farmers and all sorts of bits and pieces. Came up with some ideas that basically were the ground up, and managed to start implementing them. And then he was promoted, and so he contacted the MP. He didn't want to name, a lady who was taking over from him, and he said, can we arrange a meeting so I can tell you where I am, what I've done, and where I think want to go to next. She wasn't interested, and so all that work he did just went out the window, and then she would have had her own agenda. It's like, oh yeah, okay, it's a broken system. It's a good system, but it has lots of potential for improvement. Those 5-year cycles are too small. I was talking to the neurosurgeon yesterday about the pressures that we've got in the NHS in England. They're exactly the same in Italy, and I've spoken to some people on the Camino and the medical pressure in the Netherlands. Exactly the same in the Netherlands. Basically an ageing population. Fantastical leaps forward with medical science, which are super expensive. It's just like, the state systems can't hope to go and pay for all these incredible treatments, and so consequently they keep making cuts, and not putting up the taxes because that's what the electoral voters want, and so the system's just collapsing around their ears. And just like we've got in England, he was saying in Italy, vast numbers of people now who are able to. A lot of their medical treatments are done privately, which is kind of broken, isn't it? I'm not against the idea that I think the French system, they pay an insurance on top of the state one, and so I don't know. It's funny, isn't it? It's some cultures are more difficult. We're spoilt when it's somebody from the Netherlands. Invariably, their English is amazing. Actually, a lot of Germans that I've met, their English is amazing, but the French, they're very proud of their language and their culture, and so it's less common to find someone that you can have with my rubbish French an in-depth conversation and find out more about their country and culture. It'll happen. Bit of HS2 modern rail system. It's quite impressive, almost silent when it went past, and it flew. It's the advantage of having lots of wide open spaces to go and build a new rail system that we haven't got in the UK. I guess we'll have to find a way to adapt our Victorian rail system to modern standards, or just enjoy going slowly, which could be kind of cool too. Maybe that's the solution to the transport problem, is alleviate the need to travel, apart from pleasure. Why do we all have to go and whiz into a workplace, which is quite often inefficient? Of course, if you're a factory worker, it doesn't kind of work, does it? But an office worker, which most of us are these days, we produce bits of paper. Woo! smile. I saw a Facebook photo of a bumper sticker on a lorry. And of course it was a lorry, so it's a bit bigger than a bumper sticker. But it said, stop buying crap and I won't be here. Yeah, you've got a point. A little chapel Kerry picked up, which I hadn't, is that the town we stayed at last night, the buildings have changed from, or particularly the churches and cathedrals, from stone to brick. And so here we go, got a brick one here. And so actually, and there was a little bit of a transition, though we didn't see it in the churches of Cobb. So I guess we're moving into a region where stone is not easily accessible. And Kerry was saying in the book she was reading that the brick now stays with us for some time. I wouldn't have picked it up until she said, no, it's like, oh yeah, okay, I see that. Ooh, I think that's our first coffee stop this morning. Not that many trains running on it, so Spain might have got the best high-speed train network in Europe. But, we saw one, they look a bit like the French ones, white, which is a good colour for the heat in Spain. Lovely easy walking day, and mostly shaded by the trees next to a super quiet little road. Okay, got a quirky arch. Maybe it's just part of the irrigation system. Who's to know? Jacked up fitness. Oh, I like that one. That one's a good one. Altiera, that's not a bad one either. K2AZ. I like that one as well. Very cool. Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Ferragamo Germany. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've got to get a tattoo. I think I'm going to get a otter underneath my arm. So when I'm swimming, you can see the otter. Yeah, think about it. Billy Connolly said never trust anybody that wouldn't put a tea cosy on their head and hasn't got isn't inked somewhere. We like Billy. Not my choice of building design. I can remember on Grand Designs. Now in Australia they had one made with galvanised iron, so it was all silver. But it's got a nice graphic on there, I'll give him that. It's a great big house that Aussie had built out of corrugated iron and the silver. And Kevin McLeod liked it. So it's like, well, kind of honest. Kind of get that. Maybe being a farmer's son to me, it's an agricultural building. But, it is what it is. This tower coming up is kind of interesting. I wonder if that's a fire brigade or a church tower. How cheaply you can do the Camino. The guy I was speaking to from Spain yesterday, his albergue was €7 for the night, and he said it was absolutely immaculate with your own little charging point next to your bed. He said it was lovely. You have everything you need. Be grateful. This is true. And then we had a Peregrino's menu, which was €16, and that included a bottle of wine, 3-course meal, and a coffee. Interestingly, we're in Spain, so it's difficult. They'll either give you water or wine, but not both. And luckily, we were with this native Spanish guy, and he'd been walking all day. He wants some water, but he likes some wine too. And so he said, "Do you want some water?" I said, "Yeah." And he really struggled. She brought out a little bottle of water for the three of us, so he sent her back in again, and she came back with a big bottle of water, but then we didn't have any glasses. Smell some roses, but no perfume. Very pretty flower. And she came back with a big bottle, but all we had was our wine glasses, which were full of wine. So we asked her for some some glasses for the water. She came back with one glass, and then eventually she came back with the 3 that we needed. It was painful, and then we've spoken to quite a few people like that. I just don't kind of get. Well, Carrie's being brave. She's walking past the cafe. Obviously decided she wants a different one. Bit of a farming village going on. It's kind of cool. 2 tractors. Dark. Bales in the distance. This is a kind of groovy place. I like these frames they do. There's one in House Martins. Definitely get a lot of them around here. I think it must be a little one, I reckon. Just sat there. It's the swifts that I really like. They don't sound quite as well. I quite like their screeches. But lots of sand martins along here. Sand martins? House martins. House martins. These are nice, thin Camino Francaise. Oh, little soldier. Oh, it's been eaten by a crocodile. From 1972. There's a tractor working. It's quite a rare sight. Drilling. Drilling this time of year. Case, I think. Right. Old boy back here setting up the irrigation. A big trailer load of pipes. And I've not seen any big tractors. You know, when I worked for William Tompkins up in Peterborough, he bought the largest tractors and combines on the market in the UK. They were big beasts. And then it was the same out in North Dakota. They had White's largest tractors that you could buy in the time in the world. But with oh gosh, even in Peterborough we were using 60-foot wide cultivators and drills. I'm not sure what the Whites were pulling. And then I think it was a John Deere combine. That was a beast. I have to do a bit more exploring. The field size don't kind of make sense for the side of the machines. I'm wondering whether it's the fact that labour's really cheap in Spain, so actually you don't need to go and have the economies of scale. That's why we use such big tractors in the UK. It is the most expensive thing, labour. So actually, the less people you can employ, the better. Or whether, there's that bit I went to Google that actually the average Spanish farm is really small. So although the fields appear to be big, actually, the one farmer's only got one field, and the field that's next to it is actually another farmer. I don't know. It's interesting. I like these things. Rich red soil, a bit like what we get back at home, Crediton. I think it's iron that causes a red colour. It's usually highly fertile. We've not left the horrible plains of the Meseta. I think it rolls all the way on into Leon, and then day either side of Leon as well. Okay, done my normal googling. So yeah, the hourly salary is quite significantly cheaper than the UK. 87 euros per hour. Not quite sure what the exchange rate is. I think it's about 1.2 to 1 at the moment. So that probably puts it down in the mid sevens an hour in pounds. And then I was looking at average tractor prices. So in the UK, £30,000 average tractor price. In Spain, the average tractor price is £84,000, 85,000 euros. So, you know, you got that. Not only is agricultural equipment super expensive, but there's a crow just stood there in the field. And then, you know, the cost of living in Spain is, you know, we've been quite a few places where you get a coffee or a beer for €1. And actually, quite often the cheaper places, they'll actually give you an absolutely full glass of wine. It tends to be the rural places. You go into towns and you start to get more. So we're in town yesterday, quite a big town. I think it's like €1.50 for a wine, and then it would be a typical, you know, a third of a glass, typical glass of wine you might expect to get in the UK rather than one that's brimming. Ooh. Police out to keep an eye on us today. Nice to see them. There you go, he's going to move out. There we go. Oh, went down a hole. Do you see him? Yeah. I'll show you the groovy rail bridge. It's unusual. High-speed rail line that we've been following today. Probably our day's walk is 5 minutes on the train, if that. But we enjoyed that one. It's a bit nice one. Smaller farms, little villages, some farmers out working. A bit of a lack of inspirational quotes on the signs and pavements today. Maybe we should be contributing. So I think we're having a little bit of a preparation here for going into Lyon, which I think is 2 days away. Yeah, it is. Yeah, 2 days away. So not tomorrow, but the day after. But the guides tell us that it's a monotonous walk through lots of industrial conurbations. So that's kind of cool. Makes us enjoy the nature bits, and there'll be some quirky things to see in there too. It'll be exciting being in Lyon. Another little step. Although I think maybe the next bit I'm really looking forward to is climbing the mountains again. We do, I think, the highest pass on the Camino after Lyon, and we go past the there's a point on there where they got a cross where everybody leaves their, well, those that want to leaves their stone at, and the stone is supposed to symbolise sort of all those baggage that we all accumulate through time, and quite a few people go and time their walk, so they arrive there at sunrise, which might be kind of nice. I've enjoyed watching several sunrises and a few dawns break. They're kind of a magic part of the day. I have to admit, we're actually just asleep by sunset. Whoa, look at this road. I don't know, it feels like we're going into Wild West. I expect Clint Eastwood to come riding along with his horse. Eldorados. Past some quite nice little tiny, you wouldn't think it's much more than a shack, but I think it's actually people's homes. Nice, they're all up together, and then you know, really well kept vegetable garden, and then little tiny vineyard. Thinking, oh, they've actually got quite a decent quality of life. They probably grow most of what they want. It's got a very different feel to all the other places. I'm liking this. Plastic sunflower, some fruit. It'd be nice to come through here when the sunflowers. He's filming me, he's filming him. I'm listening to the theme tunes from spaghetti westerns. Just feels like that sort of place. Left the high street just over there, finding our Burgo. Coming up here, I think. We've got the Laguna. Stop now, near the frogs. There's a serious view out there to the mountains. Even Kerry said it feels a bit like Colorado. Wide streets. Yeah, so that's the other side. That's a day the other side of Leon for us. So 2 days to Leon. And up over the top of those. It's been that. Bit of a windy day. This is some mural, isn't it? How gorgeous is that? Very smart. The municipal albergue. I made a cob. It's gorgeous. The cob's got such a warmth to it. Whoa, look at this road. I don't know, it feels like we're going into Wild West. I expect Clint Eastwood to come riding along with his horse. Eldorados. Past some quite nice little tiny, you wouldn't think it's much more than a shack, but I think it's actually people's homes. Nice, they're all up together. And then, really well kept vegetable garden, and then little tiny vineyard. Thinking, oh, they've actually got quite a decent quality of life. They probably grow most of what they want. It's got a very different feel to all the other places. I'm liking this. Plastic sunflower, some fruit. It'd be nice to come through here when the sunflowers. He's filming me, he's filming him. I'm listening to the theme tunes from spaghetti westerns. Just feels like that sort of place. Left the high street just over there, finding our Burgo. Coming up here, I think. We've got the Laguna. Stop now, near the frogs. There's a serious view out there to the mountains. Even Kerry said it feels a bit like Colorado. Wide streets. Yeah, so that's the other side. That's a day the other side of Leon for us. So 2 days to Leon. And up over the top of those. It's been that. Bit of a windy day. always little devils, aren't they?